we're going to be predicting the UFC 312 main card that goes live this Saturday in Australia. So I think everyone's talking about it, and we have got to discuss it. The main card, for a main card of a pay-per-view, don't get me wrong, there's two really good championship fights. I really like the women's championship fight, and I obviously like Duplessis vs Strickland, but the other three cards in the main card are awful. Don't get me wrong, Justin Tafa, I reckon that fight's going to be really fun. I reckon it's going to be a first round knockout, and Jake Matthews as well. I think that fight could be alright. Even the Jimmy Cruz one, like, all the fights could be good, but that's not the point. The point is Jake Matthews should be on a pay-per-view card in 2025. Teixeira vs Tafa. Teixeira's making his debut. Tafa's 7-4. He shouldn't be on a main card of a UFC pay-per-view. And Jimmy Cruz hasn't had a win in 5 years. These people cannot be on UFC main cards. I understand they're Australian, and as well too, they are quite known, and they're going to be fun fights probably. So this is like literally a perfect opening 3 fights to a prelims of a pay-per-view. Perfect. From a country, Australian. Then you put Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos as the last one, and then you get 3 really good fights in there. They don't even have to be like rank 6 versus rank 2. Do you know what I mean? We could have had Gaethje versus Dan Hooker on there. Dan Hooker's the perfect place to get an Australian pay-per-view. We could have had Volk on there against maybe Diego Lopez if he weren't fighting Topuria. There's so many people we could have, but it's even more crazy, I think, that all the fights on the prelims, I'm excited to watch. I'm going to do a breakdown on Topuria versus Fitness. I'm going to do a little breakdown on that. I'm going to do a fighter showcase on. I'm going to pick a fighter, because loads of fighters are so good on the prelims. The upcoming fighters that are going to be really good. So why are they better than the cards on the main event? That shouldn't be the case, but it is the case, so we have got to deal with it. I hope they are really good fights. But start with, obviously, Dracus versus Strickland. Now this is obviously the second time they're fighting. Dracus won. When you watch the fight, I thought he definitely won the fight. I know it was a split decision. I know some people saying robbery. I think Dracus did win the fight. He got a lot of takedowns, but what you need to notice in that fight was he couldn't hold Strickland down. It wasn't like Adesanya he'd get him down, and then Adesanya would wait there, and then maybe he'd get up, or he'd get choked out. Strickland's not chilling on the floor. What people need to remember, when Strickland came into the UFC, he was already he was already a black belt. He was a jiu-jitsu fighter. He's got good grappling, and I seen his coach Eric Nixon talk about him. He was saying in the gym, he's the hardest round out of anyone for wrestling. Like, he's so hard to take down. He's so hard to get off you if he's trying to take you down. And that's why I think, I've got a feeling that the game plan from the Strickland side is going to be wrestling. They're going to add in a bit of wrestling to Dracus. I obviously seen that Strickland come out and said, let's be men, stand in the middle, point down to the centre and just scrap. I understand he said that. I think that was just little mind games with Dracus. Obviously Dracus isn't going to fall for that. And I think Strickland is going to try his best to get loads of wrestling in. Can he do that on Dracus? Who knows? Can he withstand the pace of Dracus? We obviously seen in the last fight he could keep up with him, but Dracus is just getting better and better each fight. That Adesanya fight, he was so good. Adesanya was really high level in that fight too, I thought. I didn't think it was like Adesanya where it was rubbish. You think, oh, he's over the hill. Nah, Adesanya was good, but Dracus it's mad. I don't understand how Dracus's like fighting skills work. I don't understand, but he's so good. Like, one thing that I think kind of like plays in everyone's mind is that second round in the Darren Till fight. I understand, like, I rate Darren Till's striking extremely high, especially, and maybe a bit biased because I'm from Liverpool, but I rate Darren Till's striking to near the top of the middleweight division with Izzy. And that second round, he was destroying Dracus. Obviously, I swear that was before Dracus had like a nose surgery where it helped him breathe better. But Strickland doesn't really strike like that. He stays behind the jab, throws 100 jabs, throws loads of body kicks. And if you're looking at Paulo Costa fight, he done that and it worked effect as if he won. But like, I don't know, like Paulo Costa definitely won a round. It was kind of close. And then on the other hand, Drake is choking out Izzy. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think in the last year, Drake's stock has like drastically improved. Everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And then Strickland's kind of gone like I haven't seen many people picking Strickland to beat Dracus, and I'm not either, because I think Strickland has the tools to beat him. Strickland, other than Chimaev, I think Strickland has more tools than Adesanya, obviously, and Whittaker, who Dracus just beat. I think he has got more tools than them to beat him. I think he can pick him off, but he needs to come forward more. He can't just back up the whole time, because when Dracus is on you, he's throwing these wild hooks, he's throwing this big front leg head kick, he's taking you down, he's just applying loads of pressure. And to the judges, that's huge. Do you know what I mean? Like, the judges, I do think it'll be Dracus by decision. Don't think Dracus will submit him, and maybe on TKO him, but I doubt it. I really do doubt it. But when you look at Strickland, he has the tools. He could definitely do it. Dracus is sloppy, but he's not at the same time. It's just the most confusing fighting style of all time, but it works amazing. And I think Dracus is going to be too much. I think the pressure he's going to put on round 3, 4 and 5, he's kind of going to run away with it. I think overall the fight will be quite close, because I think Strickland could easily win the first round or two. I think especially that first round when he's just using that jab dead good, that's when he can like stun Dracus, knock his head back, and then you can start moving from there. But I do think if Strickland uses the wrestling, then maybe it'll be a different game plan, but a different fight. But I don't think he will. I'll be honest, I don't actually think he will do the wrestling. I think Strickland will just be Strickland, jab, front kick, shit talk to him, and it'll be a sick fight though. I'm really excited for it. I am going to go Dracus by decision. On to the next fight, Weili Zhang vs Tatiana Suarez. I'm going to do quite an in-depth breakdown on why I think Weili Zhang is going to beat Tatiana Suarez, and obviously that gives it away. I am going Weili Zhang by either TKO or decision. I think for some reason Tatiana Suarez, even though she's had, and I understand like people call her the female Khabib, I understand that, but she's only had 10 fights. The level of opponent is still good. She's beat Alexa Grasso, but that was a long time ago. She's beat obviously Jessica Andrade, Carla Esparza, loads of really high level people, but she's only 10-0. Weili Zhang for like the last 5 years have been fighting absolute killers. Joanna Jędrzejczyk knocked out with the spinning back fist. Obviously Jessica Andrade, Hao Shang-Nan, and loads of just top level fighters. Don't get me wrong, she has had basically a year off. She fought UFC 300, which was in I think April, so she had basically a year off. Tatiana Suarez hasn't fought in ages. She's not very active. She's battles quite hard with injuries, which is disappointing, because you want to see fighters fight as much as possible, and that's what I'm really looking at in this fight. I think Weili Zhang will be too much. I think it's a 5-round fight. I don't think she'll be able to just destroy and maul Weili Zhang like she does all the other fighters. The Jessica Andrade fight is pretty eye-telling, I think. Like, Jessica Andrade caught her sometimes with the boxing, and I think Weili Zhang's boxing's way better than Jessica Andrade. But I think Weili Zhang's takedown defense is really good, and I think she's just got so much power. I think them first 2 rounds will be really crucial for whoever's going to win the fight. I think either Tatiana Suarez will take her down loads, and then we'll be like, oh, maybe Tatiana Suarez is going to win, or Weili Zhang is going to absolutely destroy her in the feet. And I think Weili Zhang will be definitely too much on the feet. That's what I'm going with. I think her boxing's going to be too good. I think when Tatiana tries to enter on a takedown, that's when she'll attack. That's when she'll throw knees up the middle, uppercuts, or she'll just be able to defend takedowns. She has got to worry about the jits. she has been in Bangtao. She trains in Bangtao, so with some of, if not the best wrestling coaches in the world, the Hickson brothers. So I think her takedown defense will be an all-time high, and I think she'll get the job done. Now moving on to probably one of the most funnest fights on the main card, but again, it shouldn't be on the main card. Talison Teixeira vs Justin Tafa. If this fight goes past the first round, I'll be surprised. Any Tafa brother fight that goes past the first round, I am surprised. And usually when it hits the second round, they are extremely gassed. But they can still knock people out, even in that second round. I'm going to go Justin Tafa by knockout. The reason I'm going Justin Tafa by knockout is he's going to have all his mates there. All his boys are going to be there cheering him on. In Australia too, they fight at like 4 a.m. So he's going to be like scrapping at 3:30. All his boys are going to be bladdered, cheering him on. Tai Tuivasa is going to be there cheering him on. It's going to be such a good fight. But it's going to be such a good fight in a way where it's going to be so fun. I don't think maybe the technique won't be there. But Teixeira, he has a win by sub. He's obviously a knockout. Like, he predominantly wins by knockout. And he is a striker. But he's from Brazil, which, like I say, you're born with a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So maybe he could wrestle. I don't think he will. I think he'll want to put a show on. I think it's his debut fight in the UFC. I think he'll want to show that he can knock out Justin Tafa. But I think Justin Tafa, he'll have too much power, and he's a hard man to knock out. Look at the size of him. So I am going to go Justin Tafa by knockout, and I'm going to actually predict a right uppercut. So the next fight, Jimmy Crute versus Bellato, and this is the one out of all of them. I'm confused that it's on the main card. Bellato, he's only had a couple fights in the UFC. He's not like this seasoned vet for the UFC. Like if it was like, I don't even know, like if it was like Claude Guida versus like Tony Ferguson, two older fighters who are veterans, but they've fought loads, then throw them on the main card, go ahead. But like Jimmy Crute versus Bellato, come on, Jimmy Crute hasn't won in 5 years, and it worries me. That worries me. I think he's had a long time off, so hopefully he's recovered. I know he suffered with mental health issues while he was off and while he'd been training. He's just been in Thailand, so I think he definitely has a chance to win. Bellato kind of just keeps the pressure on you, constant strikes. But I think when we look at Jimmy Crute, he's obviously got pretty good grappling. If I'm right in saying he's sub Paul Craig, like that shows how high the grappling was. But obviously coming off that loss to Alonzo Menafield isn't good. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go Jimmy Crute by decision. I don't think he'll sub him, but I think he'll get loads of. I think he'll be able to take Bellato down. In them first 2 rounds, I think he'll be pretty good. I actually think, like, usually I've seen Lucas Tracy talking about this, when like grapplers go away for a year or two, let the chin heal, work on the grappling, work on the striking, work on their takedowns, they come back pretty safe and pretty good. So I do think Jimmy Crute's going to win. Obviously Bellato, he got the fight in, I think, Jan, so he's just going to be working on his takedown defense, working on that pressure. I think if he applies the pressure like pretty heavy, Jimmy Crute may crumble, but it's in Australia, so I am going to go Jimmy Crute by decision. On to the last fight, Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. This fight, again, Jake Matthews in Australia. Should he be on the main card? Who knows? But he's definitely not on too much of a losing streak. Like, I think, like, the way he's getting a lot of hate, where I don't think it's on the same level as Jimmy Crute, where Jimmy Crute hasn't won in 5 years. Jake Matthews, I think he's like 3-2 in his last 5. Could be the other way around. But Prado, I think this fight will be quite good. I think the striking is where the fight will be at. I think Prado has the edge on the feet, and I am going to go Prado by decision in this fight. I think it'll be too much for Matthews, and I think he'll defend the takedowns if Matthew tries and shoots and starts working his wrestling. So that's my predictions for the fight. I'm very excited for the Jacobs fight. This week I am hopefully going to do a video on the Topuria fight versus Fitness. one on Weili Zhang, and I'm going to pick a fighter to break down. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you later.